Hi, welcome back. So we shall continue with the second part of the nutrition and health. Okay, so now we will go to the nutrition assessment. How are we going to assess our nutrition intake? Okay, so why it is important to do nutrition assessment? One is we want to identify if the individual or a population is actually at risk of becoming malnourished. Okay, so now we on the first part we have seen that when we talk about malnutrition, it can be undernourished or overnourished. So we want to be able to understand and why some population are they at risk or they are in good nutrition, good nutrient. The other one is to identify individuals or population who are malnourished. Okay, we can identify individuals or population. Okay, if they are malnourished. Okay, and to identify the socio-economic and environmental factors which are associated with the problem. So when we identify the group of population, normally we are talking about population, whether it is school children, whether it is adult male, adult female. Kalau in Malaysia, we normally see the B40 groups. These B40 groups, they are a lot of studies is being done, and the government is also given priority to the B40 group of population. So we want to identify if the socioeconomic and the environmental factors associated with this particular group of population, if they contribute to the problem of malnourished. Okay, and then after that we can provide recommendation for appropriate healthcare services and also prevention program. We don't want it to be a chronic problem. Okay, so if they are undernourished or malnourished, what are the intervention programs that we can take, or the government, for example, policies, we can make new policies, intervention programs, for example, in order to tackle these issues of malnutrition. Okay, so methods of nutritional assessment, they are divided into two different methods. One is the direct method, which is deal with individual and measure the objective criteria. For example, you want to measure the weight of the particular individual or the weight of a group of population of the people in the population that you want to study. Okay, another one is, for example, you collect the urine and you want to know what are the biomarkers of the urine. This one is direct method, we call it. Another one is indirect method. So this indirect method is actually using this community health indices that reflects their nutritional influences. This is like other factors that actually contribute to this nutritional assessment. For example, is there crop production for that particular group of population? How is the poverty indirectly affect their nutritional status? Okay, so direct and also indirect method. So this method, we call it ABCD method. Okay, direct methods of nutritional assessment. A stands for anthropometric methods, where we use a measure. Okay, B is biochemical. We use the lab methods. Biochemical is using all these like urines, for example. And then clinical methods, C stands for clinical methods, D stands for dietary evaluation methods. So the short form, the abbreviation is ABCD, anthropometric, biochemical, clinical, and also dietary evaluation. Okay. For the anthropometric, we normally talk about the physical. Like we want to measure the height and the weight and the waist circumference, for example. So those are the physical attributes of how we want to assess whether this person or this community nutritional status. Okay. B is the biomedical. Like I mentioned, biomedical is we're talking about the fluid from individual or the group of population. We normally collect the blood or the urine in order to tell us what are the health status. Okay? C is the clinical. Okay, clinical, we have to study the history of their health and also the physical exam. If they are suffering from any disease or sickness. So we have to record in order to make sure, in order to assess the nutritional status. Okay. And number 4, the D is the dietary. So we have to be able to identify what are their food intakes. So how are we going to do this? Is to do the questionnaire. So we ask them to do the food recall. Okay. So one of your assessment, which is the assignment for this particular topic, is to do a food recall. I think it's about 2 weeks food recall. You have to it's not okay, I'm sorry, it is not a food recall. It's actually you have to record what you eat for the next 2 weeks. Okay, for the next 1 or 2 weeks. So you have to calculate how much the nutrition, the food that you take. You have to write down how much of the nutrition for each food that you take for 2 weeks. Okay, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, we have to calculate what is the calorie, what is how much protein do you take, how much fat, how much carbohydrate. That way, for doing that for 2 weeks, you can actually have a habitual. We can have a habitual screening. We want to see what are your pattern, your eating pattern, in order for you to maintain that particular food intake, whether we will see if that can be used for your nutritional status or nutritional assessment. Okay. So the indirect methods of nutritional assessment includes 3 categories. Okay, because this is indirect, right? So we're talking about how the factors that will affect the assessment indirectly. One is the ecological variables, including crop production. Okay, for example, these are the type of crop that is available for that particular population, the price. Okay, so the crop production. Okay, and then I'm sorry, this is the ecological variable. Okay, number 2 is the economic factors, whether this the individual or the people, the group of population are able to buy, they can afford the food or not. Okay, income per capita. Now we're talking about this one is the country number, the number of the country income per capita. Okay, population density, social habits. These are the factors that can be considered for nutritional assessment. Number 3 is the vital health statistics, particularly infant and under 5 mortality and fertility index. Okay, so this can also be an indicator of that particular population nutritional assessment on nutritional status. Okay, then we go to a very more technical, which is the principles of energy balance and energy requirements. Okay, so this one is actually talking about how much of food that we should eat per day. And so we are actually talking about balancing the energy, how much you burn and how much you consume. Okay. So energy balance. So the energy balance is the standard unit of energy. The unit is joule. Normally we use it megajoule. So mega is 1000 kilojoule. Okay. 1 calorie, 1 kilocalorie or calorie is equals to 4.184 kilojoule. Some people they use kcal. Okay. Some people they use kj. Kj is kilojoule. Okay, or megajoule is just the unit conversion. Okay, so 1 kilocal equals to 4.184 kilojoule. So this one is the fundamental principle of thermodynamics, that energy cannot disappear. So this energy can be either at a high level or low level. So bila dia dekat low level, the energy is more stable, and that is the principle of thermodynamics. So all the time the energy want to be at a lower level, because that is the most stable place. Okay. Food energy, it then has to be either excreted in the feces or absorbed by the body. Okay, so if it's not excreted from your body, it is absorbed by the body and stored in the body. Okay, once absorbed, a small amount of energy is excreted in the urine as a byproduct of protein metabolism. So that's why we call it protein metabolism. For those people yang ada CKD, for example, chronic kidney disease, you can see a lot of proteins in their urine because of a lot of proteins are being excreted in the urine for CKD patient. Okay, and the rest of the absorbed fuel has to be metabolized for energy, or either stored in the tissue as fat or as carbohydrate in the form of glycogen. This is where the problem comes in. If we eat too much, this amount of energy will be stored in the tissue as fat. That is the problem. This is where the problem comes in. Okay. So the metabolized energy supports the making of new chemical compounds within the body, fuels the muscular activity required to breathe, digest food, and maintain body posture, and provide energy for physical activity. So if we don't have enough energy that is being utilized, then most of the energy are being stored as fat or as carbohydrate in the form of glycogen. Okay, that is, so we have to find the balance between the intake, energy balance, and energy requirement. How much actually we are needed by our body. Okay. So energy requirement, energy that are needed, energy needs are determined by energy expenditure. Expenditure meaning that how are you going to use the energy. Okay, therefore, in principle, estimates of requirement should be based on measurement of energy expenditure. How much are you going to use that energy? Okay, so it will include the BMR, which is, we call it basal metabolic rate, the physical activity, the metabolic cost of food, and metabolic cost of growth. Okay. First, the BMR. Okay. When we say basal metabolic rates, this is the energy expenditure. Okay. BMR. What is BMR? Okay. So BMR is the lowest rate of energy exchange in the body, which is related to the organization of bodily function and production of body heat. This one is actually, in an easier way, says that the expenditure when we are at rest. Okay, you see this one, the second line. Technically, it is actually the rate of energy expenditure of a fasted and fully rested individual. So even when we rest, we actually use the energy. Okay. So meaning that it is the energy that is being expenditure. Expenditure means it is being used when you don't do anything. Like for example, when you sleep, when you save, that is the amount of energy that is being used. Because we have to breathe, right? Okay, like our body function actually is doing all the function, and we need energy to do that. Okay, since BMR is the largest component of the energy expenditure, FAO and WHO used or adopt that in 1981 as the basis to calculate the components of total energy expenditure. So they use these basal metabolic rates in order to calculate how much actually energy is being used while you rest. Okay, like when you're not doing anything. Don't think that when you're not doing anything, you don't burn the kilocalorie. Actually, you use the kilocalorie. Okay. So to obtain the total requirement, the estimate of BMR is multiplied by factors that covers the energy cost of increased muscle tone, physical activity, thermic effect of food. Food ni dia ada thermic effect, exothermic, endothermic. Okay, and where relevant, the energy requirement for growth and also lactation. This one is stated in FAO, WHO in 1985. Right. So let us see. Okay, I think this is the same. Just keep that. Okay. All right. So this is called a Schofield equation. There are many calculations that is being used. So I put this link there. Okay. This is actually taken from a very thick book. I think it's about 600 pages. If you are going into this line, like if you're taking Masters of Functional Food Design, okay, you should read this book cover to cover. Okay. So this is a nutrition book. You can just get it online. It's for free. Because this one is from our Ministry of Health that published this book. If you don't like to read online, you can buy from National Nutritional Society of Malaysia website. I think it's about 30 to 40 ringgit, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, you can just buy it from them. Okay, and you can have physical book. I put the link there so you can go to it. Okay, this is just a snippet of some of the, I think, most important schedule or tables that's available in the book. Okay, so you can have basic information. Okay, to using this Schofield equation to measure BMR. Okay, so this Schofield equation for predicting basal metabolic rate, BMR, from body weight. So body weight is an important important factor to calculate what is our BMR. Okay, I give you an example here. Okay, this one is a male and female. Of course, we have different gender. Okay, and then it has to be categorized according to age lah. According to age, and then we normally go for the kcal per day lah. That is a number that we are familiar with. We are not too familiar with the megajoule per day. Okay, so I give an example here. If you are a woman at 60 kg of body weight, so for example, you are here. Okay, say you are about 45 years. Okay, so you can take this value 8.126 W plus 845.6. So W is your body weight in kilogram. So I have put it here. If you weigh 60 kilogram, you just put it in there, and then you can get that is your BMR 1333 kilocal per day. That is how much you actually burn while your body is at rest. Okay, and this is Schofield equation. Okay, this one is another way of estimating BMR. This one is using Harris-Benedict formula. You can Google the DOI. I've given you the link. You can actually click there, and then it will open to this review paper. You can actually go through that one as you go along in the program. Okay, this one is using Harris-Benedict formula, which take into account the weight, height, age, and also gender or sex. Okay, for example, if you are female, okay, this is the formula for female, 655 plus 9.6. Okay, if you are male, you can use this formula. So I gave already an example here. So Alice is 45 years old woman at 556 cm height and 60 kilogram of weight. So you put all these values in this formula, so you can get BMR for Alice. Alice is about 1299.5. So this one is using height punya formula, so you get 1299. Just now using Schofield, it doesn't use the height, so you get 1333, which is not too far. Okay, so it depends on which one that makes you feel happier. I think you will be happier if you see a higher kcal is being burned while you do nothing, right? Okay. Okay, so this is just information for you to use to calculate. So you can just use this formula and calculate what is your BMR while you watch TV. Okay, right? And then this one is the Malaysian BMR prediction. Okay, prediction, that means this one is using megajoule, which is we are not too familiar, but anyhow, this is from Ismail et al. 1998. You can also use this to calculate, but we are not familiar with the megajoule. Then you can just convert it using the formula that I gave earlier, right? This is another way of calculating your PMR. Okay, this one is actually PEL, PEL or physical. Tadi ada nombor, I think number 2 is the physical activity level, kan? This slide. Ni, components of energy expenditure lah. One is your PMR, so you already burn that much, okay? Tinggal nak burn physical activity lah, okay? Physical activity, alright. So please go through that book, that RNI book, the latest one is being published from the MOH website, okay? So this is to tell you the physical activity level, example of 24-hour activity equivalent to, if you think you are sedentary, I want to I want to say that I'm actually at 1.4, because most of my time I will sit in front of computer. So it's sedentary lah, at least for me, but I'm not sure. Maybe you are very active, or you are moderately active, or active. So if you have a better PEL, that means you burn more expenditure lah. Your energy expenditure is more. Okay. For example, sleeping. MET is metabolic equivalent value based on this paper lah, and Swift et al. 2011. Okay, so sleeping. Semua orang sleep the same, kan? If you sleep, like you don't do anything during the sleep, so they are all the same. This one, 8 hours, for example. Okay. Showering, toweling, off, grooming, say you spend 0.5 hour. This number is actually the time spent lah, kan? Lying down and watching TV, office work, sitting. So this very active person, they don't stay office work, sitting, writing, desk work, typing, so 0 hour, kan? Okay. Farming, driving, cutting hay, irrigation work. So because this person very active, kan? So they spend 4 hours doing that. Sitting, activity, watching TV. So total of 24 hours lah. So you can actually follow this PEL number. If you are sedentary, you can use 1.4. If you're moderately active, it's 1.6. If active is 1.8, and very active is 2.0. Okay. So that is the physical activity level. Okay, when are you going to use it? You can use it here. Okay, so this is the energy requirement. So now we are talking about energy expenditure. This one is the energy requirement. Like if you already spend that much of energy, how much energy that you actually need for your body. Okay? If you are a low active person, I used the example just now at 45 years old. Okay. So you need about 1660 only kilocal per day. Okay. And then just now if you burn around 1300, or left about 300 to burn. So you have to make sure that you burn that 300 by doing physical activity. Okay. And not eating more than 2000 lah. If your BMR is about 1300 kilocal, and then your intake is about 2000, then you have to burn about berapa? About 700, 6 to 700 kcal. That is quite a lot. And then we know that from your assignment, and you will see that from my fitness pal, from my NCD The database, the one that I've mentioned to you in the assignment, okay? Then you can see from there how much you actually eating per day, kan? Okay. If you don't use physical activity to expenditure to use that energy, then it will be stored as fat and also carbohydrate as glycogen, okay, in our body. All right. So we have to find the energy balance. Okay, so guideline, this is very famous guideline. It is still being used until now, Malaysian Food Pyramid 2020. You already know how much you want to, how much of energy you want to take, right? Then what are you going to take? What type of food? Okay, follow this one. Okay, Malaysian Food Pyramid 2020, guide to your daily food intake. So you can have fruits. Okay, the lower part of the pyramid is the higher servings. 3 vegetables servings, 2 fruit servings. Fruit ni you have to wash also because it has different fruit and different types of sugars. Okay, plain water, we have to drink water 6 to 8 glasses. This is very famous. Everybody knows this, 8 glasses of water per day. This one is actually apa ni? Rice, other cereals. Okay, 3 to 5 servings. Fish and milk products, about 2 servings. This one is protein food. Protein food, you can get it from fish, meat, legumes. So about 1 to 2 servings. And then the least one is the limit intake of fats, oil, sugar, and also salt. Okay. This one you can click this one. Okay, it is from this link. And then you can read through the pages. It's only 1 or 2 pages, I think. So the number of servings is calculated based on 1,005 to 200 and 2,300 kcal. So this pyramid is meant for children aged 7 years and older. So if you have a younger children, you have to follow. Actually, if you go to the website of this MOH under nutrition division, they have so many different guidelines. You have to see which of the group of population you are referring to. Okay, so adolescents aged 13 to 15 years, recommendation for fruits is 2 to 3 servings for milk, and milk products are about 2 to 3 servings. For adolescents about 16 to 18 years, recommendation for fruit is 2 to 3 servings. Milk and milk products 2 to 3 servings, and for rice, other cereals, whole grain, cereal-based products, and tubers about 3 to 6 servings. Banyak juga for adolescents, remaja yang 16 to 18, they need energy, right? The one that is star ni, yang star, this one star, okay? They also include, MOH also include this as a guideline, okay? We should also limit our intake for ultra-processed food, which contain artificial substances such as colors, sweeteners, flavors, preservatives, and other additives. Okay, processed food lah, the one that is in pack, the one that we normally buy, like nugget, and nugget is not really meat. Okay, they have so many different ingredients in there. Burger, okay, that is ultra-processed food. You can actually read all the ingredients. You have all these sweeteners, flavors, preservatives, colors, additive, and as you go along in the program, then you can know why we have that as food manufacturing. We have to find a balance between consumer and also manufacturer. Okay, so that we're able to understand and respect each other. All right, energy requirement. Okay, number one, these are the many steps for energy requirement. One is to know our body mass index, BMI. Number two is we have to know berapa banyak, how much is the calorie that we need per day. Okay. Number three, how the calories should be distributed to ensure a balanced diet. This should give an indication of how much protein, carbohydrate, and fat is needed. Okay. Number four is you also need to know how much the vitamin and minerals that is needed by you. Some people, they don't like to eat raw fruit and vegetables. You can opt for supplement, but be careful of supplement because supplement ni, they tend to have higher concentration of the nutrient, right? So you can actually see, go to this website, myhealth.gov.my, under nutrition division. Then you can see what is your RNI based on your weight and your age and your gender. Okay, from there you can actually see what is your RNI, and then RNI is recommended nutrient intake per day. Okay, then when you want to buy the supplement, you don't have to buy the one that you don't need that high amount. Actually, when you take the supplement at higher amount, you're actually giving burden to your kidney. We don't want to do that. Unnecessary burden. Okay, and then number 5 is you have to know your food, right? We have to know our food. When we want to buy something, we know that it is high sugar, high fiber, high fat, high carbohydrate. We already know, right? But it's so difficult to control ourselves, right? That is self-control is the most difficult thing to do. Okay, number 6, sample menu to suit your daily calorie and nutrient needs. Happy eating. When you eat, you are happy, right? When we eat, we tend to be happy. Like the Malay pantun say, rendang gendut, tali kecapi, kenyang perut, suka hati. Okay. Okay, this is quite small here. I think I will just stop sharing the slide. I will open the PDF so I can go through with you. This one is not too new concept, but it is a very neat and nice concept that is given by us, by the Ministry of Health in order to know the portion. Okay, so I will stop sharing here. Let me see if I can share with you this one. Okay. Okay, let us move from here. Ketahui indeks isim tubuh kita. Okay, so if you are international student, I am sorry this is in Malay, but I will try to explain to you in English. Okay, so this is your BMI. How to measure the BMI is the weight in kilograms divided by the height. Height ni you have to measure properly lah. Okay, using this instrument. Okay, the height is power, height times height in meter. Okay, so you will get this your BMI. So 20 is considered normal. Okay, and then this one is you have to balance out your calorie intake. So the food less than the expenditure for those cyclists kan, they like to cycle 5-6 hours per day. You use a lot of energy, right? But you don't eat so much. So it's not balanced. Energy is not balanced. You will feel dizzy. Okay. This one is good. Just now I have mentioned to you the expenditure and also the intake, right? The energy. Then it is balanced. This one happened a lot. Okay. We eat more. Okay. We tend to eat more of calorie. Okay. Eating more does not necessarily mean, eating less does not necessarily mean you have less calorie. It's what you eat. Okay. It's not how much you eat. It's what you eat. All right. So if you eat more, so the plate is bigger than the exercise, then you will have a unhealthy energy or unbalanced energy. So we want this grade 1, the same plate and the same physical activity. Okay. So berapa banyak tenaga diperlukan sehari? How much of energy is needed per day? Depending on your gender, age, your height, your weight, your physical activity, your basal metabolic rate, Okay. If you are an elderly, you may need about 1500 kilocal. If you are active women, wanita bersederhana aktif, teenager, you are a man, sedentary, not active, most of children, it's about 2000 kilocal. Okay. But you are very active, you cycle every day, like 20 km, okay, and you may need a higher kilocal. It's about 2005. Okay. Then we go to the example of sajian sihat sehari pinggan sihat Malaysia. Okay. This one is the example of healthy plate lah, healthy plate. I think one of the activities that you have to do in this nutrition topic is how to create a healthy plate. And this is the example. Okay, so you divide this into four, three division. So the carbohydrate is only the quarter, the protein is another quarter, and the half comes from the fiber or vegetables. Okay, so this is your breakfast. Malaysia like to eat nasi lemak, right? So this is a nasi lemak with egg, anchovies, and peanut, and cucumber. I'm not sure about this one. I think it's maybe it's sayur kangkong. I think some people, some place, they eat kangkong with nasi lemak, right? I saw this in Malacca somewhere. Okay, so this is your breakfast. You can have a this one is tea, okay, hot tea or ice, okay. So it's about 500 kcal. Ni tak ada, this one has no fried chicken, This nasi lemak, right? Alright, then we go to the snack. About 10 to 11, you feel hungry. So this is, you drink 1 cup of milk. And then, apa ni? Kuih apam, kan? This one is made from fermented rice. A bit of sugar. We normally eat this with coconut, shredded coconut. Very nice. 150 kcal. Okay. And then we eat about lunch break. This is very healthy. Very healthy lunch. 1 p.m. kan, lunchtime. Okay. Plain water. Okay, warm plain water. You have quarter of carbohydrate because Malaysia like to eat rice. Rice is our main carb, so they cannot live without rice. So you can eat rice, you can still eat rice. This is lean chicken. This is from the breast part of the chicken. And you have this, I think this is soup in chicken rice, I think. You have like the half of the plate is fruit and veggie. Okay. About 500 kcal. So, tak ada supper, There's no supper. So 3 times a day is enough. But Malaysia like to eat 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, we like to eat snack also. What happens to the... Oh, sini sambung Okay. Snack petang. Okay. 4 o'clock, we are hungry again. Okay, you eat this one is popiah, but not fried popiah. This is ripe popiah. Okay, with the vegetable inside, 150 kcal dengan air kosong. If you eat teh tarik, it's different, right? Okay, and then hungry again after 3 hours, dinner time. Okay, nasi goreng, sedap nasi goreng. Okay, and then you can have this. I think this is fried chicken, fruit. Not many people eat fruit at night, right? Ni sayur apa ni? This one is I mean, I don't know what it is called in English. This one is kacang panjang, kan? 7. So when we want to have dinner or late or heavy heavy food, we have to make sure it's about 3 to 4 hours before we sleep. So if you sleep at 10, you have to eat dinner at 7. Huh? So anything before 8 o'clock is good, I think. Yeah. Okay. So this is the healthy plate. Okay, let's see. So a quarter is carbohydrate. It can either be rice or potatoes or this one is what? Vegetarian penuh is whole meal. Whole meal is highly recommended. Then you have protein. This is typical Malaysian plate. You have fried fish. Okay. You can have protein from animal or you can have protein from the plant. Okay. And then half of the plate is vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Okay. If we are not familiar with this, we can start slowly. As you go along, you will find this very useful. Normally in Malaysia, half of the plate is is carbo, is nasi, is rice. Normally we say nasi separuh. After this, when you go to mamak shop or you go to makcik cedok nasi, you tell nasi suku, suku-suku separuh. The suku, the quarter come from the rice. Okay, suku-suku separuh. This is, it means quarter, half. Okay, quarter of carbo, quarter of protein, half of the vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Okay, so this one is actually how we can reduce the our body weight lah. Our body weight. Okay, let me take this speaker. Okay, Ayuh turunkan berat badan hari ini. So let's reduce our body weight. So set a true goal, set a correct goal. Okay, so we should set about 5 to 10% between 6 months or half to 1 kilo per week. Oh, banyak 1 kilo per week is quite a lot actually, right? But you can, if you are consistent and you are determined, you can achieve the objective. Okay. Okay, diet yang betul, the true diet or the correct diet or the nutrition. So the energy expenditure and the energy intake should be balanced. Okay. And then physical activity is very important, as it has been discussed before. Physical activity is one of the factors that is included in the energy expenditure. And it's about 60 minutes, okay, 60 to 30 minutes or 30 minutes per day, at least 3 times a week. That is the least. Okay. And then you can monitor your progress. And then normally if we are doing this alone, we get very lonely, right? And then we tend to have a yo-yo goal. So when you have a group of friends that is very supportive, so you can achieve your goal faster, right? Okay, this one is the BMI lah tadi. This one, BMI. If you are, your BMI is about somewhere 18.5 to 24.9, it's very good, it's normal and also ideal. But if you reach 25 to 30, 29.9, that means you are considered pre-obese, pre-obese or overweight lah. If it is more than 30, it's already considered obese. Okay, so Malaysia as number 1, 2, 3, 4, bukan number 4, yang paling tinggi, the highest in Southeast Asia. Okay, the prevalence of high body weight. Okay, now you wonder why? Because we maybe eat not good types of food, and then we don't normally do a lot of exercise. Okay, this is the kesan lebihan berat badan and obesity. So if you are obese, this is the effect lah. Okay. We will have problems with our organs, the pancreas, the cardiovascular, the brain, the liver, kidney, the hormones, and the skin. Okay, so I will close this, stop sharing. Please go to this one is actually taken from a infographic that is published in one of the newspaper. Okay. Okay, healthy plate infographics. In Malaysia now, under Ministry of Health, the government is doing a lot of things actually, intervention that for food manufacturers, you can actually opt for a healthier choice logo. Okay, when you want to buy some foods, okay, if you want to buy food in the supermarket, look for this healthier choice logo. Okay, for food manufacturing, there are the guidelines. If you are food manufacturer, then you can go through the guidelines, how to use the logo, what are the requirements on how to use the logo. But if we are a consumer, you choose product that has this logo. Okay, that is the least we can do to ourselves, right? I actually went to this nutrition labeling 2 weeks ago in KL. Okay, Singapore is considered advanced country lah kan, developed country. Okay, they actually have label. In Malaysia we have healthier food choice, healthier food choice, HFC. But in Singapore, they categorize the food according to one A, B, C, D. Dia macam ada the green, the yellow, the orange, and the red. So, yang food, for example, food that is not, that don't have any nutrient, that is like considered junk food, will have a red, macam they call it like a macam color. They give like a, what do you call that in English? The color code lah, color code. If for example it's junk food, they will put it in on the red, so you know that you shouldn't buy that one because in the red zone. Okay, Singapore can do that, but Malaysia is getting into there soon. Okay, so Malaysian healthy diet. Okay, this is the survey from the nutriweb.org.my website. You can actually join this by going to the website, or you can look for the QR code. Okay, QR code, and you can join this Malaysian Healthy Diet online survey if you are actually buying or eating healthily, or you can just join and be part of the national data, right? Okay. This is the one that I mentioned. If you are going to take Master of Food, Functional Food Design, you have to master all these books and information. You can go to this hu.moh.gov.my under buku or books. You can actually download from there. But if you want to buy physical one, you should buy it from I think Malaysia Nutrition Society of Malaysia, or you can get it from this website also. Okay, the latest one is Malaysian Dietary Guidelines 2020. Itulah yang the one that I got that picture just now. Okay, I will stop here for the second part of the nutrition and health. Then I shall continue this on the last part of the nutrition topic. I will see you later.